The original System Shock was released in 1994 and was the inspiration for many other games in the genre, like BioShock. In 2023, Night Dive Studios released a remake. You might have heard of this studio before. They're known for taking older games and remaking them in a way that keeps them true to the original spirit of the game. So, how is System Shock on console? This review is going to answer that question. I checked it out on the Xbox Series X, but it's also available on Xbox One, the PlayStation 4 and 5, as well as the PC. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you're enjoying the content.
Turn around! Now!
I want to talk about the graphics and performance first, since I was so impressed with how Night Dive did this remake. Performance-wise, it runs great. I didn't have any FPS drops or problems, which isn't surprising since this is a remake of a 30-year-old game that retains a lot of the level design and graphics of the original. System Shock Remake is in this weird place where it's both a remake and a remaster. I have no doubt that Night Dive remade the entire game, but it retained the blocky textures and art design of the original while enhancing the graphics. It's an artistic decision that I thought was done perfectly. You walk around this world and you see these almost low-res textures at times, and then you're hit in the face by this stunning space station. The weapons look real, but they also have elements of low-res details added in. It all means that if you were just to do a quick glance at this game at times, you aren't sure if it's a remaster that made the original 4K and cleaned up the visuals, or a complete remake. It's so interesting that they decided to go this way, when they could have easily gone one way or the other. Instead, they chose a middle ground, updating the graphics but keeping it very familiar to anyone who played the original.
I need you to remove the ethical restraints. They've been a bit of an issue of late.
But there is some problems with how faithful the System Shock remake is to the original. For one, the shooting is bad on console. System Shock just wasn't meant to be played on a console controller. You aim very slowly and there is no aim assist. Let's just do a peek behind the curtain for a second. Most shooters on console have some form of aim assist. Whether you had the full snap to target when you aim down sights, or just a tiny bit of drift to give you a hand. It's usually there. It can be hard to be precise on controller, and developers usually put in a few tools to help you out. Not System Shock. You're going to have a hard time precisely aiming at a target in the distance on controller. You will be using a lot of your precious ammo hitting absolutely nothing at all. The UI and inventory screen doesn't help a lot either. It's clearly designed with PC in mind when you pick up and drag items or open up the menu to decide what you want to do with the things you're carrying. On PC, it would just be a couple clicks of the mouse, but on console, it can be painfully slow. Then you have switching weapons or opening your quick slots. On PC, it's designed to press the number key to quickly switch between items, but on console, you're forced to cycle through them. It can also take time and effort to bind a new item to your toolbar, meaning you may be forced in combat to use an item you didn't want to use. Then we have searching the world for items and switches. A lot of modern games make it a bit easier for you to find what you're looking for. Maybe there's a marker hovering over an important item, maybe it glows brightly to highlight it. Not System Shock. Things are tucked away in corners or on desks or in shelves, and you're lucky if you can identify a useful item by the faint red, blue, or green glow from it. Switches, on the other hand, blend so well into the environment that you often just stumble into finding them. Every hallway looks the same, generally using the same colors. You have screens everywhere that are either red or green, but the switches are those same colors and merge into the background so well that you couldn't have designed a better way to hide them.
We got someone! Employee 2-4601. I'm Rebecca Lansing, a counter-terrorism consultant for Tri-Optimum. Here's the situation. Our scans for Citadel Station show biological outbreak is in progress. We're in a comms blackout since Shodan is unresponsive. And worse yet, the mining laser is charging for a potential strike on Earth. Nathan Darcy has an office on the medical level from Central Hub. If he's alive, he'll bring the situation under control. I'll contact you through military node implants soon. Lansing out.
Finally, we have the biggest problem with the System Shock remake. Its dedication to the original's design. Games were different 30 years ago. Levels tended to be very samey, maze-like and confusing to navigate. System Shock has this problem, and it's a major concern that will turn people off. This is the classic where do I go, what do I do kind of video game. This is a game where combat takes a backseat to exploring the corridors of a space station, looking in every nook and cranny for easily missed items or switches, and then backtracking. This is a game that can be beaten in less than 10 hours if you know exactly what you're doing. In fact, there's even a difficulty setting available that puts that requirement into it. But it will take most players nearly double or triple that time if you want to beat it without looking up a guide. The level design makes you feel completely lost, and even when you backtrack, you're never quite sure if you're going the right way or you've been here before. There is a map which is helpful, but there isn't waypoints on it, at least not on the normal difficulty. Codes for doors are hidden in audio logs, keys are placed on desks that blend in with the design, puzzles are difficult and require you to sometimes think outside the box and use logic to determine the correct sequence with only a few clues or hints to guide you. System Shock doesn't hold your hand. It doesn't care if you don't know what to do. It says, figure it out. It's a rare thing for remakes to stay so true to the source material, and whether that is good or bad is up to you. Maybe you're the type of player that hates the way modern games spell everything out for you, holding your hand to bring you exactly where you need to go. Or maybe you're just trying to enjoy the story and become frustrated at puzzles for hours on end, and that isn't the type of experience you're looking for. System Shock is a 30-year-old game in a modern skin. It's up to you whether that's a good thing or not. Now for the pros and cons of System Shock. For the pros, I love the graphics and the art style. The combination of modern and classic, retaining some of the old textures while enhancing others, was really cool to see. It's clear the developers loved the old game and didn't want to compromise it in any way. It stays very true to the original. For the cons, unfortunately, there is a reason that modern games are so different from the classic style of game design. The levels are maze-like here and confusing. The combat is very poor. The UI and controls are clearly designed for PC and can be very unwieldy on console. There are these 3D cyber flying sections that can make you ill and also have the problem of being very hard to navigate. This game has a ton of where do I go, what do I do? A lot of the puzzles can be obtuse and hard to understand how to solve them. Alright, here's my honest opinion. The System Shock remake is not worth $40 US. I would suggest you pick it up on sale, get it for probably 20 or so for what you get here, and then be aware that if you didn't like the original, you probably won't like this one. It's a classic game in a modern skin. It's as close to the original as it can be while still being a remake, not a remaster. I personally didn't enjoy it, but I think there are a lot of people out there that will. I'm the Casual Console Gamer on YouTube, and I'll see you all in the next review.